My name is Ava, and I was in love with two men, and they were best friends. It wasn't a situation I planned, but a dangerous, intoxicating game I had started and couldn't seem to stop. The first man was Liam. He was my boyfriend, kind, steady, a brilliant engineering student who looked at me like I was the only person in the world. He was my future, the man I knew I should be with. The other was Noah. He was Liam's childhood best friend, his roommate, his brother in all but blood. Noah was a whirlwind, an impulsive, passionate art student who looked at me like I was a secret he was desperate to keep. He was my thrill, my escape, my beautiful, reckless mistake. My relationship with Liam was public, celebrated by our friends. It was built on sunny afternoons in the park, quiet study sessions, and sweet, simple gestures. My relationship with Noah was a secret, a series of stolen moments in the shadows. It was hushed whispers in the library stacks, a hand brushing mine under a table when Liam wasn't looking, passionate, desperate kisses in the stairwell of his art building. I told myself it wasn't really cheating. My connection with Noah had started first, a brief, intense fling the summer before I met Liam. We'd ended it, agreeing it was too volatile. Then Liam came along, and he was a peaceful harbour after Noah's storm. But the storm never really went away. Noah was always there, a magnetic pull I couldn't resist. And so, the game began. I became a master of deception, living two separate lives. I'd have a sweet, romantic dinner with Liam. Then an hour later, I'd be in Noah's darkroom, the scent of chemicals in the air, his hands tangled in my hair. I justified it with a twisted logic only a person in my situation could invent. Liam nourished my soul, but Noah fed my passion. I needed both to feel whole. I convinced myself I was in control, that I was protecting them both from a truth that would only cause pain. The guilt was a low hum beneath the surface, easily drowned out by the thrill of having a secret that was mine alone. The delicate balancing act I was so proud of began to wobble. Liam, ever the planner, started talking about the future in concrete terms. He showed me listings for apartments we could move into after graduation. He talked about marriage, about a life together. Each mention of our future was a reminder that my double life had an expiration date. The guilt grew louder, harder to ignore. At the same time, Noah became more reckless. He was tired of being the secret. The thrill for him was shifting from concealment to the danger of being discovered. He started pushing the boundaries. He'd accidentally leave his jacket at my place, forcing me into a frantic scramble to hide it before Liam came home. He'd send me a cryptic text while I was sitting right next to Liam, forcing me to maintain a placid expression while my heart hammered in my chest. The closest we came to disaster was at Liam's 21st birthday party. Liam was across the room, surrounded by friends. Noah cornered me by the drinks table. "I'm tired of this, Ava," he whispered, his voice intense. "I'm tired of watching him hold your hand." He leaned in as if to kiss me, right there, in a room full of people. I had to physically push him away, laughing it off as if he were just a drunk friend being silly. My heart was pounding. The game was no longer fun. It was terrifying. I was living on a knife's edge, my life, a tangled web of lies and near misses. The stress was immense. I was constantly checking my phone, deleting call logs, fabricating stories. My grades started to slip. I couldn't sleep. The two separate lives I was trying to lead were bleeding into each other, and I was losing myself in the process. I knew I had to end it. I had to choose. I had to break one of their hearts to save the other, and to save myself. But every time I looked at Liam's trusting, loving face, the thought of hurting him was unbearable. And every time Noah gave me that secret, knowing smile, the thought of losing that passion felt like a kind of death. So I did nothing. I let the game continue, hurtling towards an inevitable catastrophic end, too weak and too selfish to be the one to stop it. The end came as I knew it would in the worst possible way. It was the night of my own birthday. Liam, being the wonderful man he was, had planned a surprise party for me at their apartment. All our friends were there. He had baked my favourite cake, and his toast to me was so full of love and hope for our future that it brought tears to my eyes, tears of both love and profound guilt. Noah had been distant all night. Just before Liam brought out the cake, he pulled me aside into the hallway. "This is it, Ava," he said, his jaw tight. "Look at him. He's planning a life with you. I'm not going to be your dirty little secret anymore. You either tell him tonight, or I will." Before I could answer, Liam called my name. It was time to cut the cake. I walked back into the living room, my legs feeling like lead, Noah following close behind me. As I stood by the cake, knife in hand, Liam beamed at me. "Make a wish, my love," he said. I closed my eyes, a single, desperate wish forming in my mind. "Please, let me turn back time." As I blew out the candles, Noah spoke, his voice cutting through the applause. "So, Ava," he said, a cruel smirk playing on his lips. "Did you wish for that trip to the secret garden again?" The room fell silent. Secret garden was our private name for the hidden rooftop spot where we always met. It was a detail so specific, so intimate, it meant nothing to anyone else. But Liam, who knew all my secrets except the biggest one, just looked confused. "Secret garden?" Liam asked, turning to me with a smile. "What's that, babe? An inside joke?" I looked from Liam's innocent, questioning face to Noah's cold, challenging stare. And in that moment, the entire web of lies collapsed. There was no escape. I couldn't lie my way out of this. I just shook my head, the tears I had been holding back for months finally streaming down my face. "I'm so sorry, Liam," I whispered. The realization dawned on Liam's face, slow, and then all at once, a wave of sickening understanding. He looked at me, then at Noah, his best friend. The heartbreak in his eyes was the most painful thing I have ever witnessed. The party ended in a blur of shouting, of broken glass, of a lifelong friendship being destroyed right in front of me. I lost them both that night. Liam, the good man I had truly loved but wasn't brave enough to deserve, walked out of my life and never looked back. And Noah, the man I thought was my passionate escape, revealed that the thrill had never been about me. It had been about the game, about winning. Once the game was over, he was gone too. I had played for 2 hearts, and in the end, I was left with none. I had flown too close to 2 suns, and the fall back to earth, alone, was a long and brutal one.